Hello and welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Exorcistic, the unauthorized rock musical parody. Now, before we dive in, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel so I can get on the Broadway press list and bring you even more reviews. And your support truly helps. So let's get into Exorcistic, the unauthorized rock musical parody. Now playing at the Asylum. Now this show has actually been around for more than a decade. It first appeared at the Hollywood Fringe Festival in 2013, where it won the award for Best Musical. Since then, it's been performed in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Long Beach, steadily picking up a cult following. Now more recently, it won a 2023 LA Drama Critics Circle Award for Best Music and Lyrics, and a 2024 Broadway World NYC Award for Best New Musical Off-Broadway. So it's a show with a bit of a history and a track record of attracting audiences who are willing to go along on this crazy ride. Now it's back in New York just in time for Halloween. The source material, this is of course a parody of The Exorcist, the 1973 horror film. Now, my mother was nursing me and didn't take me to see it in theaters when it came out, but like a lot of people, I caught up with it in the 1980s on a VHS tape rented from Blockbuster Video. I still remember the iconic images of the little girl in her nightgown levitating in her bed, her head spinning around, the sores on her face, the pea suit vomit, the priest battling the demon, and the mother wringing her hands. And all of those famous moments show up here in one form or another. If you're not familiar with the film, I strongly recommend watching it before seeing this because a lot of the humor depends on recognizing those references. The storyline here follows a struggling theater company that decides to mount a parody of The Exorcist in hopes of making some money. What begins as a 29-hour reading quickly escalates into an off-Broadway production, and by Act 2, it's supposedly a Broadway show. Along the way, the actress playing the possessed little girl actually does become possessed herself. So the parody of a horror movie morphs into a parody horror play itself. The musical style of the show incorporates a mix of rock, hip-hop, jazz, and traditional Broadway numbers, all backed by a live band that keeps the energy level high. But here's the problem. This venue, the Asylum, is really not ideal for a rock musical. It's very small, and the Asylum just has two large speakers over the stage. And when you're dealing with heavy guitars and drums, it often drowns out the lyrics when everything is just coming out of two speakers. And in a parody, if you can't hear the lyrics, you're missing a lot of the jokes. And I found myself checking the program later to figure out what even the title of some of the songs were that I missed. That said, the theater itself is very intimate, so every seat is a good seat. Wherever you sit, you will be really close to the action. You'll even be in it in a lot of cases. So, in terms of parody, The Exorcistic brings all the iconic images from the film to the stage, but with a body comic twist. The spinning head, the vomiting, the bed scenes, they're all here, done in over-the-top theatrical ways. And at one point, the mother drags a long 1970s corded phone through the audience, which is a really great period reference that I thought was quite funny. There's even an extended public urination bit, which is outrageous and definitely leans into the shock-style humor. The show also uses this device called Anatomy of a Scene. At various points, the words are projected on the wall and the cast pauses to explain the symbolism and impact of a famous scene from the film before they reenact it on the stage. It's clever in concept, but in practice, I found it was interrupting the flow of the show. And I really wanted the show to just keep moving instead of stopping for the commentary, which I didn't really find that amusing. Now, let's talk about the cast. The cast is absolutely the strongest part of this show. Emma Hunton, who plays the possessed little girl, is a standout. She's funny when she's playing the innocent child, and she's downright frightening when she becomes possessed. Her physicality is incredible. At one point, she goes into a backbend, and it thrills the audience. We're having a great time watching her, and she is a phenomenal singer with a powerful rock belt and really great comic timing. She really elevates every moment that she's on stage. Lee Wolf is also excellent as the mother. Stephen Cutts is in high seduction mode, giving a big performance as Rowdy, and as Father Pryor, who has a fun scene where he is trying to seduce Father Gareth. That is not a scene from the movie, but it was Fun that they added that in. Speaking of Father Garris, Ethan Crystal deserves special praise for grounding the show a bit. In a production that often veers into total chaos, he brings a welcome sense of seriousness that balances things out. And serious but comedic in that seriousness. Overall, the ensemble is very talented. They're all strong singers. They're all funny comedians. And they're completely committed to this material. If anything, I sometimes wish they had dialed back their performances when playing themselves as actors in the play within the play. Starting at such a broad level meant that there really wasn't as much room to go, especially when we get into the parody portion of the show. But that's more of a matter of direction and not talent. Speaking of, the directors are Ali Miller and Chad McMillan, with choreography by Kamal P-U-G-H. Let's talk a little bit about the writing and the structure of the show. This is where things got a little confusing for me. The show is essentially a farcical musical parody of a horror film inside another play about struggling actors. And that's a lot to cram into under 2 hours. And then you add 19 musical numbers, songs that are primarily for comedic effect, not to develop character or move the story forward. And there just isn't much time left for book scenes. The result is that the story of the actors never really lands, and the parody of the film sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. I always found myself enjoying the direct parodies of the movie the most, the famous moments staged with comedic exaggeration. Those were clear, funny, and the most successful. The extra framing device and side plots just added confusion to the proceedings. That said, I want to be fair here. Michael Shaw Fisher, who wrote and composed the show, clearly isn't aiming for a highbrow, nuanced piece of musical theater. He's a fan of horror films, he's a fan of musical theater, and this is his way of smashing the two genres together. And on that level, it worked. It's outrageous, it's excessive, and it's not pretending to be anything else. So, was I bored? No. The energy is nonstop, and the cast is too talented to let things drag. Was I confused? Yes, between the play within a play conceit, the anatomy of a scene interruptions, and the sheer volume of material crammed into 19 songs, I often found myself struggling to track exactly what was happening. But here's the bottom line. The cast is excellent, the parody moments are funny, and if you're a fan of The Exorcist or parody musicals like Silence of the Lambs, you'll probably enjoy this show. And on the practical side, tickets are affordable. There are discounts available on TDF for around $45, and I expect more outlets will have them as well. So, those are some of my thoughts on Exorcistic, the unauthorized rock musical parody. If you go, please let me know. Were you laughing, confused, or both? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you at the next one. In the name of Jesus Christ.